Well, hey everybody, Christmas is 1 week away, and for some that means endless Christmas parties and maybe overindulging on one too many spiked eggnogs or cocktails. That could lead to a not so friendly next morning. But some could be seeing more than just a hangover. They could be experiencing something called hangxiety, which is the anxiety that hits after a night of drinking. Alcohol might seem to calm you in the moment, but it can actually make anxiety worse on the back end. To help us avoid hangxiety and explain just exactly how this happens, we're joined by Dr. Tyler Trahan, an internal medicine physician and addiction specialist over at Henry Ford Health. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Can you, first of all, just kind of break down what exactly is hangxiety?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. So hangxiety is that sensation of feeling excessive worry, sometimes panic, and overall anxiousness, usually accompanied by other symptoms of a hangover the night after drinking.
So,
Or sorry, the morning after drinking, rather.
We were kind of joking here in the studio, and maybe we're not that far off, but does it also, could it tie to, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I say last night? That kind of thing?
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes with those anxious feelings, those thoughts and that rumination, the next morning tends to happen with anxiety, yeah.
Okay. So what do we do about that then? I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is don't drink too much.
Well, right, yeah. I think, if you're looking to avoid the experience of anxiety, the perhaps obvious answer would be, not to drink at all. But, that may or may not be realistic for some people. And so, of course, I would recommend drinking in moderation, maybe spacing out the drinks throughout the evening. And then another really big thing that can make a difference is going to bed at a decent hour.
Mm.
Getting a good night's sleep can make a big difference in helping to mitigate that anxiety sensation the next morning.
I've heard some, I don't know if they're tips or, old wives' tales about mixing your drinking with high water consumption or eating lots of carbs and kind of just keeping your stomach full. Does any of that help mitigate the effects of the hangover or the anxiety or both?
Yeah, so there is some truth to that. Making sure that you're staying hydrated. I think, like you had mentioned, maybe alternating an alcoholic beverage with a non-alcoholic beverage or water, perhaps. That helps you slow down your intake and allows the body to metabolize it, and so the effects the next day aren't as dramatic. And also, it just helps your body feel physically better.
Mm-hmm.
In which case that can in turn lessen some of the mental aspect and the anxiety in and of itself.
Sure. Speaking on both, drinking and the anxiety issues, from an addiction perspective, where's the line from, just social drinking and some issues of anxiety versus there's a medical problem you should probably seek help for?
Right. Great question. I think there's two components to this. One with the anxiety perspective, and perhaps in the context of hangxiety, right? If this is something that somebody is experiencing frequently, they start noticing it's not going away after a day or two, or if it's really intense and starting to interfere with their day-to-day activities, that could be a sign that there might be something else going on underneath the surface. And then also from the alcohol perspective, if we find that we're drinking more and more, perhaps to cope with that anxiety, or if we start noticing the alcohol is, again, interfering with our day-to-day or starting to cause negative consequences and we're drinking anyway, that could be a reason to have a conversation with your doctor.
What we also were talking about earlier is that I don't know about you or the folks watching right now, but sometimes there's anxiety already because of whatever family members or whatever discussions are going to be had while you're gathering around. So the alcohol, some people find as a way to cope with that anxiety.
Absolutely, right. And that's, sort of the ironic part of all of this is alcohol can be calming in the moment, but it's almost like you're borrowing calm from the next day, right? And so sometimes you might feel good in the moment, but you'll have to pay it back the next day.
All right. So before I let you go, just give me some of your top tips and tricks for dealing with this stuff as we go into the holidays.
Yeah, sure. So, like I had said before, perhaps maybe opting not to drink around the holiday season. I think that's actually becoming more and more socially acceptable, which is a great thing. But if you do choose to drink alcohol, making sure that you're drinking in moderation, continuing to go to bed at a decent hour, prioritizing a good night's rest, and then the next day, ensuring that you're staying hydrated, eating a healthy breakfast, which can regulate some of those blood sugar levels too, to help you feel better. And then just remembering, hey, if you are hit with this anxiety sensation, it's just your brain recalibrating. It's gonna pass, and more than likely, things will be okay.
Sure. You know, you mentioned something, and I said I was going to let you go, but I lied to you. You talked about opting not to drink, and I'm starting to see a trend, especially in Gen Z, where there's less societal pressure to have a drink while you're out with your friends or whatever it might be doing. In fact, mocktails seem to be a very big thing right now. Are you seeing that, or am I just making this up?
You're definitely not just making it up. That is something that we have been seeing as well. There's been a significant increase, seemingly, with the number of options that are out there for, like you mentioned, mocktails, non-alcoholic beers, even non-alcoholic wines. It's becoming almost trendy or almost cool not to drink. And I think that's actually a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay, Doc, thanks so much for your time and enjoy the holidays.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.